Did the Blue Jays overpay for Daulton Varsho and are trying too hard? And did the Blue Jays downgrade this offseason? These are all headlines and tweets created by Yankee fans and writers who believe the Blue Jays got worse this offseason. But are they actually right? And are the Blue Jays going to be worse than last year? I'm going to shout out Tommy Takes, who wrote this article that I'm going to be referencing in this video. When I read this article, I felt every bias in my body rise. I didn't want to believe that the Blue Jays actually got worse. So this is why I'm making this video, to try and prove Tommy Takes wrong. Respect to Tommy Takes, but I gotta give my take on this. First off, I want to start out and acknowledge what he said in the article. In the article, he mentions that the Blue Jays lost two cornerstone players in teoscar Hernandez and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He also claims that the trades we made are silly and that we are just trying way too hard to try and improve this team and actually hurting us in the end. He also links this tweet right here showing the weighted runs created from all of our offensive moves. So you see teoscar Hernandez, Lourdes Gurriel Jr, Gabirel Moreno, and what we're getting back, Kiermaier and Daulton Varsho. Obviously, when you look at these stats, yes, this is a definite downgrade to our lineup. I mean, I'm not going to argue with him. I think he's absolutely right. Varsho and Kiermaier are definitely a step down, and I think our offense is not going to be as dynamic as it was last season. What he's not factoring in is the defensive improvement, as well as the pitching upgrades that we got in return for teoscar Hernandez and in the free agency market. Because if you're going to say the Blue Jays as a whole has been downgraded and got worse, you have to include every single factor of this team. If not, you might as well just call the headline Blue Jays offense got worse, because I would agree with you on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at some other stats to combat the weighted runs created that he mentioned in the article. Just a warning, everybody, we're about to do some math in this video. That's right, we're about to get all Moneyball Peter Brand up in here. The first stat I looked at was defensive runs saved, and I want to take a look at every single player we lost this offseason compared to every single player we added. So what I did is I took each player's defensive runs saved and divided it by the amount of games that they played last year. I figured this would be the best way to start off and compare the lost and addition to the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm not going to go through every player, but here is the math that I did for every single player. You can pause the video and take a look if you'd like. The total defensive runs per game that we lost this offseason totals 0.1444. However, the total defensive runs per game that we got back with the player additions totals 1.701. So you can clearly see right here that we have actually improved defensively, which we all knew. But of course, offense is offense and defense is defense. Apples to oranges. We're making some pretty different comparisons here. Well, there's only one other metric that we could possibly use, and that's everybody's favorite statistic, WAR. Using my same calculations, I compared the players that we lost WAR compared to players that we gained WAR, and divided it by the games that they played last season. And the total WAR per game that we lost in free agency and offseason equals 0.1704, where the total WAR per game that we gained equals 0.1885. So there you have it. You can make a legitimate argument that overall, defense, offense, pitching, that this team overall has slightly improved in terms of its WAR and compared to their performances on the field last season. Obviously, I am nitpicking here, and I'm trying to make an argument to prove that the Blue Jays moves that they made this offseason have some logic to it. But you guys let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about the Blue Jays offseason moves? Have we gotten better or have we gotten worse? I want to hear your thoughts, because it's complicated and we won't know until we see the 2023 season. And thank you so much for watching, and as always, guys, go Jays go!